Hello, I'm the Progressive Disciple. I'm taking a journey through the Bible, and I'm inviting you to join me. Today, I am covering the book of Genesis, chapters 36 through 40. Chapter 36 talks about the lineage of Esau. It also gives the list of the kings of Edom, the nation that Esau founded. In Genesis chapter 36, verses 6 through 8, it says, Esau took his wives and his sons and daughters and all the members of his household, as well as his livestock and all his other animals, and all the goods that he had acquired in Canaan, and moved to a land some distance from his brother Jacob. Their possessions were too great for them to remain together. The land where they were staying could not support them both because of their livestock. So Esau, that is Edom, settled in the hill country of Seir. I often wondered why two people couldn't exist in an area that eventually held an entire nation. But perhaps I'm reading too much into this. Perhaps the story just had to continue and they needed to explain how the nation of Edom came about. Another possible explanation is that the land was already occupied, so that Jacob and Esau did not have the whole land. It has also been said that Esau moving away helped preserve the peace, much like when Abraham and Lot separated. This is a reminder to me to be willing to compromise when conflict arises due to competition over resources. In chapter 37, Jacob gives Joseph, his favorite son, an ornate robe. Joseph tells his brothers about dreams that he had where they will bow down to him. His brothers, who were very jealous, decide they are going to kill him, but change their mind and sell him into slavery instead. They butcher a goat and dipped his ornate robe in it and convinced his father that he was killed by wild animals. Joseph was taken to Egypt and was sold to Potiphar, one of Pharaoh's officials. In Genesis chapter 37, verses 26 through 28, it says, Judah said to his brothers, What will we gain if we kill our brother and cover up his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites and not lay a hand on him. After all, he is our brother, our own flesh and blood. His brothers agreed. So when the Midianite merchants came by, his brothers pulled Joseph out of the cistern and sold him for 20 shekels of silver to the Ishmaelites, who took him to Egypt. I have encountered people who I find very annoying, and it tends to bring out the worst in me. But this is not an excuse to treat them unkindly. I think of the pain that it caused Jacob when they sold Joseph into slavery. It wasn't just Joseph who suffered. This is a reminder to me to treat people who annoy me with kindness. It has also been pointed out to me that Judah's choice of a less evil option is still considered to be wrong. This is a reminder to me not to justify evil in my choices. In chapter 38, Judah marries a Canaanite woman and has 3 sons. His firstborn, marries Tamar, but dies before having children. His brother Onan failed to do his duty to have children for his brother so God killed him. Judah told Tamar to live as a widow until his youngest son came of age, but Judah never sent him. When Judah went down to the city to shear his sheep, Tamar dressed as a prostitute and slept with Judah. When she became pregnant, Judah came to kill her, but Tamar produced his seal and cord, proving that he was the father. She ended up giving birth to twins, Perez and Zerah. Perez is in the line that leads to King David and Jesus. In Genesis chapter 38, verses 24 through 26, it says, "About 3 months later, Judah was told, 'Your daughter-in-law, Tamar, is guilty of prostitution, and as a result, she is now pregnant.' Judah said, 'Bring her out and have her burned to death.' As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law. 'I am pregnant by a man who owns these,' she said. And she added, 'See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff these are.' Judah recognized them and said, 'She is more righteous than I, since I would not give her my son Shelah.' And he did not sleep with her again." There are consequences when we do not honor our agreements. Judah realized that he mistreated Tamar by not giving her his son. This is a reminder to me to treat my family fairly and to give them all the support they need. It has been said that Judah's humility by admitting that Tamar was more righteous than I caused a change in Judah, and he became more responsible. This is a reminder to me to learn from my failing, to become a more responsible person. In chapter 39, God was with Joseph and everything he did succeeded, so Potiphar put him in charge of his household. Potiphar's wife took an interest, but Joseph refused her. One day, she grabbed his cloak. When Joseph got away, he had to leave his cloak behind. Potiphar's wife used this as evidence that she was assaulted by Joseph, and Potiphar put him in prison. The Lord was with Joseph, so the guards put him in charge of the prison. In Genesis chapter 39, verses 11 and 12, it says, "One day he went into the house to attend to his duties, but none of the household servants was inside. She caught him by his cloak and said, 'Come to bed with me.' But he left his cloak in her hand and ran out of the house." When my son was in Cub Scouts, I became a Webelos leader. One of the things they taught us as a Cub Scout leader was to never be alone with the children. This was both for my protection and theirs. I also heard a story that Billy Graham would not enter a hotel room until one of his staff came and checked it out first. It appears that when someone is giving you inappropriate attention, it's a good idea to keep witnesses around. Joseph did the right thing by leaving the situation. By acting quickly, Joseph avoided temptation. And this is a reminder to me not to dwell on my sinful desires, but to act to avoid them. In chapter 40, 2 of Pharaoh's officials were put in prison and Joseph was placed in charge of them. Each one of them had dreams. The cupbearer dreamed of 3 branches of grapevines, producing grapes that he crushed into Pharaoh's cup, and he gave it to Pharaoh. Joseph said that in 3 days he would be restored to his position. The baker also had a dream that he had 3 baskets of bread on his head for Pharaoh, but birds came and ate from the basket. Joseph said that in 3 days Pharaoh would have him killed and that birds would eat his flesh. In 3 days the dream came true, but the cupbearer forgot about Joseph. In Genesis chapter 40, verses 6 through 8, it says, When Joseph came to them the next morning, he saw that they were dejected. So he asked Pharaoh's officials, who were in custody with him in his master's house, "Why do you look so sad today?" "We both had dreams," they answered, "but there is no one to interpret them." Then Joseph said to them, "Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me your dreams." I'm impressed how Joseph put faith in God. And this is a reminder to me to turn to God for help when problems occur. It's also good that Joseph cared enough to talk to these men. This is a reminder to me not to ignore people, but be willing to talk with them. So this is my take of the book of Genesis, chapters 36 through 40. Please click the like button. This does help my channel. And subscribe to my videos. Also, I would love to read your comments, so please comment. I am the Progressive Disciple, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.